Hello guys and welcome to the first edition of First Impressions, where I give, well, my first impressions of a show after watching the first episode. Hopefully. I make no guarantees because I tend to get hooked with stuff I like. So a few days ago, Nickelodeon released the first episode of their new show, Welcome to the Wherein, on their website. Apparently this is at least somewhat loosely based on a pilot and a 2014 web series, but I haven't had the pleasure of watching those or really been able to find them, so I can only really speak for this first episode. So basically, Welcome to the Wherein takes place at this huge apartment building where strange things called Wherein phenomena keep happening. A newly moved in boy named Ansi Molina makes friends with Ollie and Caroline Timbers, who have made it their mission to figure out exactly where all these mysterious events come from and what they mean. And that's it. That's your basic premise. That's actually what I really liked about watching this first episode. It just starts. The premise is so simple. We've seen it a million times before. There's a place where strange things happen and a bunch of kids investigate. It's nothing new. And for that exact reason, the episode doesn't seem to think it needs a lot of time to set up. We don't need to see Ansi move in. We don't need to see him get settled. All we get are a few little snippets of dialogue, making it clear that strange things have happened before, and that he already knows these kids, and boom! The adventure just starts. I actually really like that. It wastes no time. Right from the get-go, Welcome to the Wherein is kind of wild and strange, and things just kind of happen without necessarily having to justify them. Granted, there is clearly some bigger mystery going on, like this very first episode already introduces some kind of plot MacGuffin, and a lot of characters have snippets of dialogue that make it pretty clear that something much bigger is going on than, oh, a monster appears every now and then. But still, it just gets straight into the fray and introduces some wild-looking characters and wild-looking locations. And I think it's wonderful. It's so refreshing, it's so creative, it's so in your face about what it has to offer. And I'm already excited to see what else it can come up with after this. Our three main characters are pretty standard overall. We have the bookish kid, the adventurous kid, and the smart kid, and for now that's basically it. We don't really know anything about the supporting cast of the villains yet. But as simple and as, I dare say, stock as they are, they're still quite fun. Caroline in particular I rather liked. She's the smart one of the group, but also the youngest, and it kind of clashes on occasion, and it's very endearing. It hasn't not been seen before, but it works for her. Ansi is the typical, I would rather stay out of the adventure, but I'm gonna get involved anyway because I'm here kind of guy. He'd rather lean back and read some books, and with how wild things get and how fast they get so wild, you can't really blame the kid. Ollie hasn't had a lot to offer in the first episode, mostly because he's very clearly supposed to be the main comic relief. It's not that he isn't funny, it's just that every single line out of his mouth seems to be a punchline, and that can be really hard to keep up with. And keep up in general. Like, he's not unfunny. I genuinely got a few good chuckles at the stuff he said. He kind of reminds me of a heroic version of Gene from Bob's Burgers, actually, and that is certainly not a bad thing. I'm just kind of waiting for him to do a little more than make jokes about eating food, you know. The art style is very simple and sort of kid bookish. It does have some qualities that would remind people of, say, Regular Show or indeed Gravity Falls, to which it has been compared a lot, which isn't strange. They really are very similar when it comes down to the base concept. But it's such a loose style. It looks like something you would pick up from a very adventurous picture book for kids. Not that cutesy picture book, Where Did the Rabbit Go? I don't fucking know. I'm not coming up with titles here, but it's sort of like very simplistic characters on top of surprisingly advanced backgrounds and creatures and concepts, and it really makes them pop, and there's just something very endearing and earnest about it that I like. Oh, and also, I really like the theme song. It's not quite what I would expect from a show like this, but it's bouncy, and it actually does kind of stick with you. I'm constantly going around these last 2 days muttering, "Welcome to the Wherein," you know? It's delightful. It really is. You get excited when you hear it. I have done almost no reading on what Welcome to the Wherein is or what the creators behind it were thinking, but as it stands now, I'm definitely gonna watch the next bunch of episodes to see where it's going. I kind of hope it won't try too hard to replicate Gravity Falls' very strong myth arc. I'd rather prefer if it stays this lighthearted, bouncy thing that it is right now. But I'm sure that it's about to tell a very interesting story, because there are already some pieces in place that definitely pick my attention and feed my curiosity. And I really want to know what the deal with the main villain is. She's this weird, strict business lady. We know nothing about her so far, other than she clearly has some huge plan in store. And I can't wait for her to show a little more character. Welcome to the Wherein is definitely something I would recommend right now, especially since with Nicktoons mostly comprising of various forms of situational comedies right now, like The Loud House and Harvey Beaks. What is the status on that? I haven't heard anything about new episodes in a while. But with that, it's nice to see an adventure show, and one that isn't Turtles or isn't Avatar, you know? One that isn't a superhero, dark, big storyline show, but one that is just straight into the fray, fun, energetic, and imaginative. I'd say give Welcome to the Wherein a watch. I'm definitely sticking around for a while longer. Well, that was it. This is a sort of test to see where these vloggy first impression things can go. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time I watch the first episode of something. Feel free to suggest me some shows. This doesn't have to be newer shows. It could be some cartoons I haven't watched before, or some TV shows I haven't watched before that I can give my brief thoughts on that way. And for the record, I will be starting to take questions for future Q&A videos. So feel free to go in the comment section or on Facebook, Twitter, or even my email, all of which have links in the description, and send me whatever you'd like to ask me. And I don't know if they'll be regular or something I do every once in a blue moon, but I figure we might as well try. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on another First Impressions. Bye!